She leads with clarity, not chaos. From the moment she walks into a room, people know exactly what's expected, where they're going, and why it matters. There's no guessing, no drama, and no emotional ping-pong. She's mastered the art of communication in a way that cuts through noise and keeps everyone aligned. While others are stuck in meetings filled with vague ideas and half-baked strategies, she's setting the tone, defining outcomes, and getting things done. Her clarity doesn't come from micromanagement, it comes from setting the standard before the work even begins. She's the type of leader who doesn't wait for problems to show up, she prevents them with direction. When she brings her team into a room, she doesn't ask, "What are we doing?" She already knows the agenda is tight, the outcomes are clear, and everyone has a role. She understands that people don't need more motivation, they need more direction. And she gives it with confidence. This woman isn't afraid to say the hard things. In fact, that's part of her leadership superpower. She says what needs to be said in real time with purpose and respect. She's not interested in being liked, she's interested in being clear. She's learned that when leaders try to be soft to protect people's feelings, what they're really doing is avoiding leadership. She chooses clarity over comfort every time. Clarity isn't just about speaking, it's about listening with intention. She listens to understand, not just to respond. Her questions are pointed, her feedback is specific, and her expectations are non-negotiable. When she talks to her team, it's not a performance, it's a strategy. Every word is chosen, every conversation has a purpose. She knows that the fastest way to lose momentum is to leave people confused. So she doesn't. She creates clarity through systems. Her teams run on processes, not personality. She's not the hero. Her structure is. She documents, she trains, and she reinforces. People know how to win on her team because she tells them. She doesn't hide expectations in vague language or assume people should just know. She believes leaders owe it to their teams to spell it out. What does success look like? What does done mean? What are the non-negotiables? Her answers are always crystal clear, and when things go off track, she doesn't spiral, she gets direct. If someone misses the mark, she calls it out with precision. She doesn't let underperformance slide, and she doesn't dance around poor communication. She knows that what leaders tolerate becomes the team's new standard, so she doesn't tolerate confusion, passivity, or finger pointing. She teaches her people how to communicate like leaders, direct, respectful, and fast. This woman also builds clarity into her calendar. Her time isn't ruled by distractions, it's ruled by priorities. She's not in reactive mode. She has a plan and her team knows it. Every meeting has a purpose. Everyone on one has an agenda. Every project has an owner and a deadline. There's no room for ambiguity because ambiguity kills speed. She's not here to manage chaos. She's here to eliminate it. Her clarity creates confidence. When people work with her, they feel secure, not because she coddles them, but because they know where they stand. They know what's expected, what's working, and what's not. She gives them the feedback they need to grow, not the fluff that makes them feel safe. Her people rise to her standards because they trust her leadership. She doesn't play favorites. She plays fair. She builds a culture where excellence is expected, not requested. She's not afraid of being misunderstood in the short term if it means delivering results in the long term. She's learned that not everyone will appreciate her directness, but the right people will, and those are the people she builds with. Her leadership style isn't about ego, it's about execution. She believes clarity is an act of respect. You want people to win, tell them how to win, that's what she does. That's why her teams move fast, stay aligned, and outperform. She doesn't wait for someone else to create the structure. She is the structure. And that's what makes her different. In a world full of noise, she brings direction. In a workplace full of uncertainty, she brings certainty. And that's why she's not just leading, she's redefining what leadership looks like. Culture isn't a buzzword, it's her daily standard. It's not something she talks about once a quarter at an all-hands meeting. It's not buried in a slide deck that no one reads. It's how she shows up, how she leads, and how decisions are made in real time. For her, culture isn't about free snacks or team building events. It's about accountability, alignment, and behavior that reflects values every single day. She knows culture starts at the top, and she owns that responsibility without flinching. Every action she takes either reinforces or weakens the culture, and she chooses reinforcement always. If she expects excellence, she models it. If she wants transparency, she leads with it. If collaboration is a core value, then it shows up in how she runs meetings, gives feedback, and resolves conflict. She's not hoping culture just happens, she builds it with intention. Her team doesn't guess what the culture is because she defines it clearly and lives it consistently. She's not afraid to spell it out. Here's what we do here. Here's what we don't. Here's what winning looks like. And here's what will get you off the team. There's no confusion, no gray areas. She makes the invisible visible. Culture to her is a standard, not a suggestion. When new people join her organization, they feel it instantly. It's in the way the onboarding is done. It's in how the team communicates, the language they use, the expectations that are set from day one. There's a rhythm, a discipline, a tone, and it's not by accident. She doesn't outsource culture to HR. She owns it in the way she leads, trains, corrects, and celebrates. Her culture isn't soft, it's strong. It's not about being nice, it's about being real. She's not trying to create a family, she's building a high-performing team. That means truth over comfort, performance over politics, and values over vibes. She's created an environment where the right people thrive and the wrong people self-select out, not because it's harsh, but because it's clear. She understands that culture gets tested in the hard moments. It's easy to talk values when things are going well, but the real culture shows up under pressure. When there's a crisis, a setback, a tough decision to make, she doesn't flinch, she leans on the culture. It's her compass. It guides what gets prioritized, how people are treated, and how the business moves forward. And because she's built it with consistency, her team trusts it. They know what to expect, even when things get tough. She reinforces culture through conversations, daily, weekly, constantly. When someone embodies the values, she calls it out. When someone drifts, she corrects it fast. She doesn't let small issues slide because she knows they snowball. She addresses misalignment early, clearly, and directly, not because she's critical, but because she's committed. She holds the line and her team respects her for it. In her world, culture isn't a side project. It's the foundation of performance. If you want results, you start with behavior. And if you want consistent behavior, you lead with values. That's her philosophy, and it's working. Her team moves faster, communicates cleaner, and executes better, not because she's lucky, but because she's built the environment for it. She's not asking people to guess what matters, she's showing them every day. She uses culture as a hiring filter. Too, skills matter, but values are non-negotiable. If someone's talented but toxic, they're gone. If someone's capable but doesn't align, they don't make the cut. She protects the culture like the business depends on it, because it does. No person is worth diluting what she's built. That's not harsh, that's leadership. Her culture is built on clarity, consistency, and courage. And it's not just internal. Clients, partners, vendors, they feel it too. They know what she stands for. They know what her team delivers, because the culture doesn't stop at the office door, it's part of the brand. It shows up in how they serve, how they sell, how they solve problems. It's everywhere. This woman doesn't wait for someone else to set the tone. She is the tone, and that's why her team doesn't just perform, they thrive. They're not showing up for a paycheck, they're showing up with purpose, because in her world, culture isn't a motivational speech, it's the daily standard. And if you can't meet that standard, you won't last. But if you can, you'll grow faster than you ever thought possible. That's the power of real leadership. That's how she's revolutionizing the way culture actually works. Accountability is her love language. Not because she's harsh, not because she's controlling, but because she genuinely wants people to win. And she knows they won't if they're not held to a standard. For her, accountability isn't about micromanaging. It's about clarity, ownership, and follow through. When she holds someone accountable, she's telling them, I believe you can meet this expectation. I believe you can deliver. That belief shows up in how she leads. She doesn't dodge hard conversations. If someone misses a deadline, underperforms, or breaks alignment with the team's values, she doesn't let it slide. She addresses it quickly, directly, and with purpose. There's no drama, no blame, no sugarcoating, just facts and expectations. She knows that vague feedback creates vague results, so she gives feedback that's sharp, timely, and anchored in outcomes. Her team doesn't have to guess where they stand. They know. What sets her apart is how she holds herself to the same standard. She doesn't ask for anything she isn't willing to model. When she says she'll do something, she does it. If she misses, she owns it. No excuses. She understands that leaders set the tone. If she slips on accountability, the entire team feels it. So she leads with consistency. Her calendar reflects her priorities. Her team meetings are structured. Her follow-ups are intentional. She creates a culture where accountability flows in every direction, up, down, and across. She builds systems around it. Accountability isn't left to chance or personality. It's baked into the way her team operates. Everyone has clear KPI. Everyone knows what success looks like in their role. There are no black holes, no I thought someone else was doing it, no ambiguity. Tasks have owners, owners have deadlines. Progress is reviewed and results are tracked. She's turned accountability into a daily rhythm, not a reactive scramble when things go wrong. She knows that people don't hate accountability, they hate confusion. And she removes that confusion with structure ones aren't casual check-ins, they're performance-driven. Every meeting has metrics, every project has expectations. If something is off track, they talk about it. If someone is excelling, they recognize it. She doesn't wait for annual reviews to tell people how they're doing. She tells them now so they can improve now. When people underperform, she doesn't rescue them. She coaches them. There's a difference. She doesn't jump in to fix it for them. She helps them own it, analyze it, and make a plan to improve. She believes that growth only happens when people feel responsible for their own performance. And she creates that space, not with judgment, but with trust. She's not trying to catch people slipping. She's trying to build people who can stand on their own. Her team knows that if they're not performing, she's going to say something. Not weeks later, immediately, and they respect that because it means no one's coasting, no one's hiding, the bar is the bar. She doesn't play favorites. If someone's falling short, they get the same feedback she'd give a top performer. Her consistency creates safety. People don't fear feedback, they expect it, and more importantly, they use it. Accountability isn't just about consequences, it's about growth. She doesn't just point out what went wrong. She helps people understand why and how to fix it. She's invested in their success, but she's not doing it for them. That's not leadership, that's babysitting, and she's not here to babysit. She's here to build high-performance teams, teams that don't need to be pushed. Teams that take initiative, communicate openly, and own their role. The impact is undeniable. Her team is faster, sharper, more resilient. They move with urgency because they know what's expected, and they know they'll be held to it. There's no room for good enough, or almost. There's execution, there's ownership, there's momentum. That's what accountability creates. She's not afraid to lose people who can't handle the standard. She'd rather have a smaller, stronger team than carry people who drag down the pace, because she's not building a group of employees. She's building a team of leaders, people who can take feedback, course, correct, and level up. People who want to be held accountable because they know that's how they grow. This woman doesn't view accountability as conflict. She sees it as care. She knows the kindest thing a leader can do is tell the truth. And she does, consistently, clearly, and with conviction, not to tear people down, but to call them up, because to her, accountability isn't about control, it's about belief, belief that you're capable of more. Belief that excellence is the standard, and belief that if we all commit to that, we can do something exceptional. That's why accountability is her love language. It's how she leads, how she builds, and how she wins. She builds leaders, not followers. That's the difference. She's not in the business of creating a team that waits for direction. She's not interested in surrounding herself with people who just nod, agree, and execute without thinking. She wants thinkers, she wants owners, she wants people who challenge the process, ask better questions, and take responsibility like the business depends on it. Because it does. When she hires, she's not just looking for talent, she's looking for potential. Potential to lead, to grow, to outpace even her. She's not intimidated by ambitious people. She's energized by them. She doesn't compete with her team. She invests in them. If someone wants her job one day, she's the first to say, "Good, let me help you earn it." That's not insecurity. That's strength. She builds leaders by pushing people to think for themselves. She's not handing out checklists and micromanaging every move. She's asking, "What's your plan? What's your solution? What's your next move?" She doesn't spoon feed answers. She forces clarity through ownership. If someone brings her a problem without a proposed solution, they're not ready. She's training people to think like owners, not like task runners. Her development process is real. It's not some fluffy mentorship program with no edge. It's built on challenge, feedback, and expectation. She gives her team room to grow, but not without standards. She'll let you take the lead on a major project, but she's going to expect execution. She'll hand you more responsibility, but she'll hold you to the outcome. She's not afraid to say, "This isn't good enough," because she believes in your capacity to improve. That's leadership development in real time. She understands that growth is uncomfortable, so she doesn't try to make everything feel easy. She puts people in stretch roles, she throws them into new environments, she asks for more than they think they can give, and when they doubt themselves, she doesn't rescue them, she reminds them what they're capable of. That stretch is where the transformation happens. That's how leaders are built. She's obsessed with feedback, not just giving it, but creating a culture where it's normal. She talks about performance constantly, not just when it's time for reviews. If someone crushes a meeting, she says so. If someone misses the mark, she tells them. There's no waiting, no pretending, just real time coaching, because the faster the feedback, the faster the growth. And she doesn't just give feedback, she asks for it. She knows she doesn't have all the answers. She wants input, pushback, fresh ideas. That's how she keeps evolving. That's how her team knows their voice matters. She models vulnerability, not weakness, just a willingness to learn out loud. That's powerful. That teaches her team they don't need to be perfect. They just need to be willing to grow. Leadership to her isn't a title. It's a mindset, so she teaches her team to lead from wherever they are. You don't need a management position to take ownership. You don't need a team under you to make strategic decisions. Leadership is how you show up, how you communicate, how you problem solve, and she develops those traits in everyone, regardless of role. She doesn't hoard opportunities, she creates them. She lets people lead meetings, she gives them a seat at important tables. She asks them to present strategy, pitch ideas, own results. She builds confidence by giving responsibility, not just saying, "I believe in you," but proving it with action. She lets people earn trust by taking the lead. And when they succeed, she celebrates them. When they fail, she supports them, but she doesn't shield them from the consequences, because that's part of leadership too. She's not afraid of strong personalities. She welcomes them. She curates a team of leaders who can challenge each other without ego, people who respect each other, push each other, and make each other better. That's the culture she builds, collaborative but driven. Supportive but sharp. It's not a place for passive players. It's a place for people who want to lead. Her impact multiplies because she's not building around her. She's building beyond her. She knows her legacy isn't in how many people follow her. It's in how many leaders rise because of her. Leaders who will go on to build their own teams, drive their own visions, and pass on the same mindset. That's how movements are built. That's how real change happens. She doesn't need control to feel powerful. She creates power in others, and that's why she's different. That's why people don't just work for her, they grow with her. She doesn't build followers, she builds leaders, and that changes everything. Ideas are everywhere. Everyone has a big vision, a new strategy, a game, changing pitch they swear is going to work. But she doesn't get distracted by the noise. She listens, yes, but she filters everything through one lens. Can we execute? Because to her, execution is the separator. It's the difference between those who dream and those who actually build. And she's not here to talk, she's here to deliver. She doesn't fall in love with strategy. She falls in love with results. You can pitch her the most brilliant plan, but if it doesn't have clear steps, measurable outcomes, and a timeline for delivery, it's just a conversation. She's not impressed by complexity. She's impressed by follow through. She's built her business by doing what others won't, executing on the boring, the unsexy, the consistent work that no one wants to talk about, but everyone wants the rewards from. Her team knows that execution isn't optional. It's the currency of trust. You don't get credibility by showing up to meetings with good ideas. You earn it by delivering results, by doing what you say you'll do. By hitting deadlines, solving problems, and moving fast when others are still debating. She's built a culture where people aren't afraid to be held to outcomes because they know that's where growth lives. She doesn't waste time with fluff. Her meetings are tight, her expectations are sharp, and her questions are direct. What's the goal? What's the timeline? Who owns it? What does success look like? If you can't answer those, you're not ready. She doesn't allow ambiguity to slow the team down. She removes it because speed matters, but only when it's aligned. She moves with urgency, but not recklessly. Everything she does is rooted in alignment. Are we executing the right things the right way at the right time? And if the answer is no, she pivots fast. She's not married to ego. She doesn't need to be right. She just needs the business to move forward. That's why she wins. She prioritizes progress over pride. She teaches her team to obsess over execution, not just input. It's not enough to be busy. It's not enough to try hard. What matters is what gets done, and what that produces. That shift in mindset changes everything. When you measure success by impact, not effort, you start operating at a different level. You stop just checking boxes. You start owning outcomes. Her playbook isn't complicated. It's built on clarity, consistency, and accountability. If something is a priority, it shows up on the calendar. If it's not scheduled, it doesn't get done. She tracks progress relentlessly, not to micromanage, but to ensure alignment. She doesn't let things fall through the cracks because she doesn't leave room for them to. Every initiative has an owner. Every owner has a scoreboard. Everyone knows what winning looks like. She's not afraid of pressure. She invites it. Deadlines aren't restrictive to her. They're empowering. They drive urgency, force focus, and create momentum. She sets aggressive targets not to break people, but to push them into excellence. She knows that without pressure, people drift, teams stall, progress fades. But with pressure comes growth, and her team is growing because they're executing under pressure on purpose. She's not here for almost. She's not here for we tried. She's here for outcomes. That doesn't mean perfection. It means completion. If something breaks, fix it. If a strategy flops, learn from it and move, but don't sit in analysis paralysis. Don't let fear become your default mode. She leads with speed, not because she's reckless, but because she's committed. Committed to progress, committed to movement, committed to winning. Her follow-up game is elite. She doesn't ask once and forget. She circles back. She tracks details. She keeps people accountable not from a place of control, but from a place of belief. She believes in high standards. She believes in potential. She believes that the only way to rise is to finish what you start, and finish it well. That's why people respect her, not just because she talks a good game, but because she plays it better. She's not just setting vision, she's driving action. Her team executes because she leads by example. She's not above the work, she's in it, and when people see her deliver consistently, it raises the bar for everyone. She's built her success on one foundational truth: execution over everything. That's the non-negotiable. Ideas change, markets shift, strategies evolve, but execution, That's constant. That's what separates the average from the exceptional. And she's not building average, she's building extraordinary. One clear step, one tight deadline, one flawless follow through at a time.